Welcome, my name's Arna, and today I'm going to be giving a tutorial on understanding the database. This is part one of a series, and we're going to be covering primary database data. ActiveClub Manager is a database application. Information about your operations is stored in your own private database. This data is held in a number of tables, one table for each kind of data in the system. To use the system effectively, you'll need to understand the data you're working with and where to look for it. Understanding the data is what we hope to convey with this video series. Now, what is the primary data? The primary data are these 7 elements: customer, inventory, inventory transaction, and this is all going to be explained further on, merchant, package, transaction, and vendor. Just so you get a feel for what else is coming, we have special inventory data, which is the location and stock of inventory. And we have operational data, which is the wizard, selections customers have made, documents, email tracking, our job log, job queue, and business rules. We have user data, which is person, user login, and that will cover both POS, cart, and manager, and user profile, which controls who logs in to the database and POS. Then we have POS data, cash drawer, login, clock in, clock out, POS configuration, work schedule. And then web tools data, we have frame configuration. So let's go back to the primary data, which we're going to be talking about today. The first thing I want to talk about is merchant. So let's hop over to Manager and have a look at merchant. So this is merchant. There are 2 of the records in here. Let me open one of these up so you can see what it contains. The merchant is it is the data record that defines the winery itself, its address, email, how it's connected to external marketing tools, the credit card gateway, shipping, FedEx, GSO, UPS, ship compliant, and so on. And you can have multiple merchant records if you have multiple wineries or multiple brands. So you can all run them inside of one database if you so desire. Okay. The next thing I wanted to show you is customer, the heart of the system. So let's open up our customer list. So this is our list of customers, and we are currently looking at the mailing address. Let's have a look at the shipping address. So these are the shipping addresses. We do support more than one address per customer. And we have a column here which says whether that customer is a pickup or a ship or deliver customer. We have a column here for validation Has the address been validated in who by? If it's a pickup, what is the location that they're picking up at? Overrides for shipping. For example, you have your policy is to ship by UPS, but you have a customer that will only be able to accept FedEx. And this is the proximity. This is the distance in miles that customer resides from the winery. The next view we want to look at is the billing address and credit card. So this is the credit card we have on file, the billing address. Tokens, what you're looking at, these long numbers on the right, those are the tokens, because we do not store credit cards. We only deal with tokens, and this column is whether it is tokenized or not. So this is the billing address and credit card information. The next view we want to look at, peek at our data, is membership status. So these are our clubs. We have 5 clubs, 2, 4, 6, and 12 bottles. We have a VIP club, green active, blue on hold, orange is inactive. Now let's see when they started or joined these clubs. So now it's superimposing dates as well. So these would be the date that they joined the club, whichever one it happens to be. And the next one I want to show you is the days that they have been a member of each one of the clubs. So this is the number of days that they have been active in any one of the particular clubs. And that information can be used for all sorts of things, including we have a loyalty discount system that will increase the discount that they get based on the number of days or months or years. Next, have a look at expirations. Club memberships can expire. If somebody bought a 1-year membership, you would put in an expiration date, and the system will automatically set them to inactive on that date because it was prepaid for a certain amount. We also have suspend restart dates as an example, where it will suspend on a date and restart on another date. The system automatically sets the membership to inactive on an expiration date, on hold on a suspension date, and a restart date will set it back to active. Then we want to keep track of membership cancellation reasons. So these are the cancellation reasons. Let's have a look at notes associated with these customers. We have 3 levels of notes. POS notes display on the POS. There's a way to communicate information that you want to display on the little ticker line on the POS. Next thing I'd like to show you is statistics about these customers. So this shows you This column is the smallest purchase they made, the largest purchase they made, total value of everything they've ever bought, and then what their 5 most bought products are. And then in these columns, this is the number of packages that have been shipped, the number of packages that have been picked up by the customer, and the number of packages that have not been picked up, that remain to be picked up by the customer. Now I'm going to change the view, slightly smaller data set. And we're going to look at something called the transaction summary. So this summarizes everything that each one of these customers has done that bought during that period that is in the search, and the count and the financial data associated with that. Then I could say, show me the customers that aren't performing, who have a history of non-payment. So these are a set of customers where they have a history in the last year of not paying. And then I could change the view to email history. Stop that and pick another search. And this shows you the clicks, email clicks associated with the correspondence to these non-paying customers. So that's an overview of what kind of information we have about customers. There is more, but we'll leave it at that for now. Let's go on to the next, inventory. So let's open up our inventory window. Make it as big as we can make it. So these are our inventory products. And it includes the tax category, the category of the product, price, the wholesale price, the cost price, the SKU. Now let's have a look at a stock summary. So for these inventory items that are distributed across multiple locations, this is the rolled up summary of the on-hand quantity, the available quantity, the allocated quantity, and the on-order quantity. Now we can add to this the value of this. So now it displays those quantities, but also the value of the retail value of those on hand, available, and the cost of goods of those on hand and available. Now let's have a look at the stock by location. Pick the stock by location view. So this shows you that these inventory items are located in multiple places, and the quantity that you have in each one of those locations. Now let's see how this inventory moves. So this is a summary of movement. So you have a movement in and a movement out, and the value of each one of those. So this summarizes for each one of the products and each location the movement in and out of each one of those locations. And then we can do the same. We can see the detail of that. So now you're seeing the detail of all these movements and which transaction or inventory transaction created the movement. Now, inventory has various rules on it that determine how it's discounted and counted in general and how it's packaged and the alcohol and taxed and so on. So you'll see here is a column for the tax category, whether it should not be discounted or not. You can have something that will under no circumstances be discounted. Whether item counting is enabled, we'll skip over that. The number of bottles that this thing represents for the box packing algorithm, whether it's taxable or not, how it's packaged, liters, alcohol, and weight. And then finally, just wanted to show you what information is used for the display on the cart. And if the cart has enabled that it will not go beyond what is currently available, then these are the on-hand quantities. Okay, that's inventory. Let's close that down. The next thing we want to talk about is package. And this is something that makes Active Club a little different. I'm going to open up the package window, clicking on the package icon. Let's make it as big as we can make it. So in Active Club, we have this concept of a package. And we have three different kinds of packages. And I'm going to go through those one by one. The first type are called club packages, and that's what I'm searching on here, right? And a club package is used for the fixed club runs, where you create a package, and then you put the inventory into the package, and then that is what is distributed to your club members. So let's have a look at the contents of these packages. So I'm going to pick here selection. So this is the inventory inside each one of those packages. The total bottle count, quantity for each one of the items, and these are the items. And so this, for example, this package here has got those 4 items in it. Then, because we're dealing with alcohol, we have a view here that will show you the sort of data we maintain on alcohol. We have whether it is alcohol or not, the alcohol type, the number of bottles that this package contains, number of liters, packing, how the alcohol is packed, and the percentage of the alcohol, which is again a summary for the whole shipment. The next view I want to show you is rules. This shows you rules associated with the package, which would be the discount the customer gets, how it's discounted, whether there's any shipping and handling discounts, and how it should charge the shipping. And you can also have a charge for pickups. There could be a handling fee for that. This kind of gives you an overview of your data setup for shipping and discounting. The next one is setup. And this shows the weight, how it's packaged, the dimensions of the package, and the insured value. This is obviously all for shipping. And then finally, the shipping requirements. Picked the wrong one. So this is, again, it's weight, the alcohol. It's the same data, but regurgitated in a different kind of view. So that was club packages. As I said, those are used for club shipments. And these are the fixed package shipments. Now we have another kind of package, which is called a product box. Set it to the general view. So we have three of them. And I can open it up by picking selection. This is what they contain inside. So a product package is something that is sold either in the back end through the retail sales or through the POS or the shopping cart. You can put a package on there. So you're selling a package of goods. And you can play all kinds of tricks with those that you cannot do if they're sold individually. But it has all kinds of uses, and they're called product boxes. Let me show you the alcohol settings for those, because they are alcohol. We would need to concern ourselves with that. We need to also concern ourselves with the shipping. This is data that we have on these packages to do with the shipping requirements. The last form of package that we have is called empty boxes. These empty boxes are used for the auto packing algorithm. So when somebody buys something, whether it be through a club shipment, a retail shipment, shopping cart, or POS, whatever they purchased is going to be put into a empty package. It will go out and find the appropriate package. And let me give you an example of that. So here, if I was a guest shopper and I bought 4 bottles on the POS, that is the box it's going to pick. Let me set it back to the general view. So this is the 4 bottle. That is the package it's going to pick when I buy 4 bottles on the POS and I am a guest. As you can see, there are all kinds of definitions. And these packages, besides having the weight of the box, they have a total rule set that determines how it's discounted based upon this particular package setup. So you can get very creative with this, and this particular database has a whole variety of them, and that's because they're all different kinds of, different clubs have different discounts, and so on. So that is the auto packing algorithm. Again, it has to concern itself with alcohol, and it has to concern itself with these rules. So here are the discounts that have been set up, And these are the most simple form of discounts that we do. We have all sorts of other algorithmic discounting methods. Shipping and handling can also, see, here's one that's based upon if you buy more than that, you get 80% off. And shipping, so they have weight. So when the auto packing algorithm kicks into gear and it's a shipment, and it says, well, I've got 4 bottles and they all have a particular weight, so I add those together plus the weight of the package itself. So that's why these packages have weight. So that's packages. Bit of a slightly different concept that we have there. Now, the next thing to do is transaction. Let's have a look at transaction. This is where all our money comes from. So I'm going to open up the transaction window. And I have a set of orders here. And this particular view just displays the financials associated with this, each one of these transactions. I'm going to pick another view, which is called status. And this shows me whether it's a gift, where it came from, POS, cart, etc. If it's a POS sale, we've got all kinds of status switches for that. Usually swapped. The payment status, I have a couple of columns for compliance. One of these, if used, and this here it isn't used. The shipping status, and we also have a shipping status called deliver. And then delivery status. Now this particular database doesn't have anything interesting in the, well, you can see there are some here that say delivered. But because this is a demo database, there is no real shipments. The next view I wanted to show you is the cost of shipping. But to do that, I'm going to first flip the view over to deal with shipments only. And then I'm going to change the view here to carrier and cost. So this shows us for each order how it's being shipped or who it's being shipped by and tracking information. This column is the actual cost of the shipment. Let's reset that. The actual cost of the shipment and what the customer is charged, which in other words includes the handling fee, wherever that has been set up in your system. And if I again scroll to the bottom, I think we'll see some real transactions here with some real labels. These are tracking numbers. Now, the next view I want to show you is to do with temperature. So every time a transaction that is shipping is created, a 5-day weather report goes with it. Blue means cold, and red would mean too hot. And you can change what those ranges, what you consider to be cold and hot. So these are all the temperatures, and these temperatures, these 5-day forecast is maintained until the label is created. So if a package is sitting in a not shipped state, this weather report is updated on a daily basis. The next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to show you the tracking information, which is this view here. But since this database is a demo database, it doesn't have any real tracking information. So I'm going to hop over to a friend of ours And here is a database, and these are real shipments with the real tracking information. So you can see on each order, the tracking data is pulled from the carrier on a daily basis. And this information is coming from FedEx, UPS, or GSO, and it's the same data you would see if you went to ups.com or fedex.com. And if there are any problems or exceptions that are going on with this, you will be notified automatically. Let's hop back to our database. And the next thing I wanted to show you is inventory. So let's look at just POS sales. And as you can see, the POS, even on the POS, you get the weather report. And I'm going to pick the view inventory items per order or in order. So this is the sales from the POS, and it shows you the products inside of each order and all the individual details of inside each order. Now I'm going to go back to picking all the transactions. I'll stop that. And we're going to pick a different view, which is location. So this is where that inventory, its point of origin. So this is the place where it is either shipped from or picked up from or taken to delivery from. Scroll through so you can see some. There's one I saw one of those on the shopping cart, has a virtual location. The next thing I want to do is I want to look at the packaging. Let's have a summary of our packaging. So we're going to select all, print preview. So this shows you what you need to get ready. Summary of all the packages that are going out for the data set that you told it to write a report for. Now, the other thing I want to show you is pickups. So this is pickups in the winery, club pickups. You can see it's all club products here. And we want to look at the signatures of these pickups. So it's here, pickup signature. So I'll select preview. So this is on the POS. This is they signed for their club shipments. These are all the signatures that we have on file. Fun to see. Now, let's go back here and let's pick generally the video transactions. And I'm going to pick a view called email history. So this is all the email associated with these sales. Now the next view I want to show you is the per order package list. Stop it and just pick a handful of these and then show you what that looks like. So we get a single page packing list for every single order. Should that be something you need? So now I am going to go back and I'm going to pick POS transactions. And I want to show you some goody information about what we're tracking with these POSs. So here's the cash drawers. Here's an interesting one. You can see it was opened on one POS and closed on another. We do support that you can start a sale on one POS, ship it over to somebody else, and they can close it on a different POS. And this is the open time and the close time of the drawer and the person associated with that drawer and the location of the POS. And then the next thing, we have the POS stations themselves. So this shows you for each sale, which station opened the sale, and which station closed the sale, which person opened the sale, and which person closed the sale. It does not have to be the same person. And here's the tip as well that they collected. And then lastly, let's go look at the sales staff. So this is, again, the POS sales, who opened the sale, who closed the sale, what the sale was for, and what the tip was. Now I'm going to go back and pick all the transactions. And I'm going to select a detailed financial summary. So let's select all, do a print preview. And here is a report, a financial report. Let me scroll through the pages slowly. Lots of detail in here. So that's the advanced financial summary. Now these financial reports are automatically sent to you daily, weekly, monthly, whenever you want, any schedule. We have tons of reports that are automatically sent. This is just an example of pulling one up in an ad hoc manner. So that's it for transactions, give you a flavor for what's happening there. So the next is vendor. And that is pretty obvious. This is a list of the vendors that you deal with. These are the companies, description of what they do, notes about them. Here we have some detail, their phone numbers, email addresses, etc., and also shipping information, should you be returning something. So that is vendors, and vendors are used for placing purchase orders. And that's used in the next part of the system I'm going to show you, called inventory transaction, the last one. So inventory transactions are a movement of product from one location to another. You can, and for each inventory transaction, you have somebody that requested it. Holding my mouse in the blue there, you see requested by, approved by, picked up by, and received by, and the dates, and it also contains the signatures, which you take on the POS. You take the signatures for these transfers all through this 4 steps. And here are the quantities, the amounts, and so on. Then I'm going to change the view to details. Actually, before I do that, let me change it to inventory. So for each one of these inventory transactions, these are the actual products that were moved in that transaction. And again, the quantity and the costs associated with it. Now I can go back to this details report. Select all, print preview, and here we have a report that shows you the detail of all these inventory transactions. And this is the detail. I have another one, which is the summary. So this is a summary of these inventory transactions. And then finally, there is a view here for the movement detail, and this shows you for each one of these transactions how the products are moving from one location to another. Well, that's all I wanted to cover in this video. Thank you very much for coming. I hope this was helpful in understanding how a manager organizes primary data.